badge. Yay!
Defense agreement that they have going on, and I think we're just escorting the diplomat.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's a defense pact that they have between each other because Essex, I think, Essex is looking to attack potentially Silchester.
I think Trinket was the guy from the Justice event.
Yeah, I don't remember. It wasn't that.
I got it. Just
wasn't.
give me 1 second to open my notes.
Was it Beto?
That
No, it was Gorsad, the hero of St. Albans that got wounded.
Yep, that's the guy. And he's the hero because he survived and nobody else did.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be a wonderful expedition. It's going to go swimmingly.
I think so. It's going to be a good time.
And so it begins.
10.
10. I have a hunting of 10.
The same.
Oh, you know what? Let me stop pulling up my notes and actually look at my character sheet. I don't think I have better. I don't think I have higher than a 10, but
it's gonna be
no, I have a
Certhiotric
5.
again.
Never mind. I will be following everybody at this point.
Yeah, I think Theo had a good one.
Yeah, I want to say it's like 15.
Oh, little baby. His little.
I'll do the guide. I'll be the guide.
Mer. The pain that we would have created.
I'm seeing some high rolls. I'm starting to get nervous.
Nah, they've all been 10.
Nice.
And it's probably. Sorry, I was gonna say it's probably just a little bit rainy.
Always just the worst.
Is it more all of the places that, the roads have kind of become paths in this time period? Or is that just more of a Somerset thing? Mm.
Folklore plus N.
Oh.
Oof, so close.
Ah,
Oof.
some nonsense. Nonsense.
Yep. Yeah.
Horrible.
Theo. Okay.
I think Colric is just like, yeah, I've gotten accustomed to these trees and brush being so thick and whatnot because I never knew any better, and that's why he failed his little roll there. That's what I'm gonna go with in my head anyway.
Mm. Oh no.
I think, if I may, because Colric doesn't know anybody yet, other than maybe Theo out of some indirect manner. You guys see this Saxon, pretty big dude. He's one of the good guy Saxons, by the way, just to be clear. He's struggling with this stubborn ass donkey of a horse, and he's keeping it under control, but it's like constant work to keep it on the road. You know, like a car that constantly veers to the left, and you have to keep correcting.
That's funny. Just a quick aside for anyone that is watching, my mic wasn't working until right now on this stream. So,
Oh no!
You didn't miss too much.
Fortunately, we heard you, but the stream.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh no.
Yeah, just not much has happened. They're still traveling to Sussex. They've managed to successfully navigate their way basically to their destination through the forest. We determined that only a couple of them knew that the forests have been overgrown since the death of Uther, basically. And then, from there, I've asked them to just roleplay and kind of get in character a bit while I quickly look something up. And they're just about at their destination.
Yeah, so you hear Colrick kind of muttering under his breath every now and again, like, nope, stay on the road. Where are you going? No, that's not an apple. That's definitely not an apple. On the road, come on. All right, there we go. Good boy, good. Pats the neck of the horse.
What size did you say your lad was?
He's like, let's see, 18.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's a big dude. In fact, he probably looks like the guy riding, a pony. I mean, to be fair, a lot of horses in this era are pretty small compared to what we know now, but it's an obvious he's probably not the right size for this horse.
Like Senior from West Coast Troppers on a tricycle.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
there's definitely some size disparity
God,
here.
that got me.
Well, much better travel than the road to Salisbury was in the hunt for the marshal.
Well,
No,
yes.
no critters.
Mm. And at least we all do have a horse, even if some of them are a bit, going to be a bit more U-shaped after the journey.
Sir
What do
Ben's
you
gonna
mean?
chuckle.
The U-shape. Oh, you mean this little guy in my posterior?
I forget that a lot of people can't read. You is the one that looks like, and he'll kind of make it with his hand to just
Motion to the air, so I have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, indicate like a little bend in the spine of the animal.
That looks like no Saxon rune I know.
Well, it is, I understand, a privilege being able to read. I could teach you if you'd like. Feel like everyone should be able to read the best stories possible.
Saxon. Vadden's going to kind of narrow his eyes at Sir Colrick, and he hasn't really looked at him before, and be like, "You do kind of look like a Saxon."
I mean, blonde hair, blue eyes, and the best beard a 22-year-old man can grow. Yeah, he's got some Saxon in him.
Such a long face.
I think he just looks over at Vadden, and he's just like, I assure you, friend, I am Beric Saxon, not the others Saxons. And when he says others, he's like, shit, there's a lot of other Saxons nowadays, so I need a better way to explain this. I grew up here in Silchester, not...
What do you mean, other Saxons? There's only one kind of Saxon, the bad kind.
No, there are good ones. Usually when the bad ones are dead. But
Right.
I digress. I grew up in
Just sort of
Silchester,
offer
not...
a nod at that.
You know the saying, the only good Saxons, off.
Wait for you to finish that with a hand resting on like a dagger's hilt. And he's just like, go on, finish.
Wayland will put up his hands and sort of ride slightly in between and be like, lads, we are all on this trail together.
Yeah,
we are all trying to help with this diplomatically, and fighting amongst ourselves would not lend credence to that.
Out of character, since my guy's from Pendragon,
Mm-hmm.
I rolled the folklore to see if he knew what a barrack Saxon was, and he definitely did not.
Oh, is that what that... Oh, wow. Okay, so looking at my traits just to make sure I don't go crazy here, Proud and Reckless aren't terribly high. They're 12. So Colrick is not necessarily like expecting or trying to challenge for a fight, but he's definitely like, okay, this guy doesn't like Saxons. Maybe I should just in case he gets a little spiry, maybe I should just get ready. Not necessarily very good on the prudent side of it, but more like, I'm down with a fight. Like, we can fight if you want, but let's not do that, because that's obviously not why we're here. And so he's just kind of watching that, and he's like, I assure you, I'm one of the good ones. How you perceive what is good and what is not, well, that's on you, my friend. Colric,
I save the
New
fire
to the
for our
party.
enemies. And then Waylon will
Enemies, you
extend
mean the
his
silence?
God.
No, I'm not gonna.
Waylon will pinch the bridge of his nose, sigh deeply while looking in the middle distance up towards the sky, and extend his hand toward Colric and say, "So, Wayland."
Colric.
Good to
And then
meet
as
you.
soon as I say Colric, the horse just kind of juts off to the left a little bit. And so when he reaches, he misses the hand because he now has to, get the stupid horse back under control.
Would that be like a dex roll to try and grab onto him before the horse goes out of reach?
I'm okay with that, but I'm just a
Sure.
little player on this team.
Yeah. I'm always good for a 5% chance of fumble. Let's see it.
So I think Wayland, having passed that dex check, grabs your hand with one and then sort of pulls the reins a little bit. Like, there you go, lad. Just keep it pointed
yes,
a little bit away from where you want to go.
Ah, yes, the offset method. I've heard of this.
The old
tactic.
stubborn ones need a little bit of guidance.
Yes,
steer
thank
into
you,
the
thank
curve.
you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awareness
There you
rolls,
go.
everybody.
What's that? I didn't hear.
Awareness rolls.
Ooh.
Awareness.
Success.
Ooh.
But yes, Wayland is very young, but he very much acts like he's, old, the old story veteran. He's just a fresh-faced 22-year-old.
Oh, glad of here. Glad of here, glad of here, glad of here.
Buddies.
I'm very distracted.
Staring at his navel.
I think you're just busy watching me struggle with this horse, and we both miss it. But you're just like, you're enraptured with how I have to keep struggling. Like, it's taking every bit of my horsemanship skill to keep this thing on the road. And this horse is just like, I'm fucking tired. Let me go lay down.
That makes sense. Gladivir is definitely very amused by the sight of everything happening in front of him.
Okay. I think Gladivir, as you hear something kind of ahead, you instantly assume bandits. You think you hear it from the tree line. You think you hear like whispering or something.
Immediately, as he kind of starts a little bit, and he'll reach down to a hand down to the hilt of his sword, and he'll kind of draw it free with a ring of steel and say, "Hold there, ambush!" And he kind of like looks back around, kind of over to his companions to kind of look for make sure that they're still with him.
Yeah, I think everyone else heard this at the same time. Everyone who passed, sorry. So Vadin, Yanin, and Yadrik, and Waylon. Yes, and Waylon.
Yeah.
So you heard similar, not similar. You also heard something. For the rest of you, just based on how you perceived it, you're pretty sure that this is just someone about to pass you on the path. And so, as they kind of round a corner, effectively, right, come into view, they come to a halt, seeing Gladivir with his blade out.
Ooh.
Oh my! Hold on. Let me get this horse back. And Sir, I think they're just travelers. You could probably put that away.
And they're in the trees, I think.
They're right there on the road. I point down the road where they are. Like, listen. Sound works funny ways in the woods. They're there, right there. They seem to be.
Annan's gonna hastily and panically draw his sword.
No. Everyone, please just settle down a bit, right?
Let's all just calm down. Put your blades away.
Yeah, Gladivir will kind of like lower his blade a bit. He's not gonna quite put it away just yet, but he just kind of like puts it on his lap, just to not immediately appear like he's about to charge anything.
Yeah. I'm going to assume, too, that, like, Gorsid's with you, but he's got a bit of an entourage around him, and so he's, like, rides just behind you guys, you know what I mean? He's got a bodyguard, and he's got another knight who's his bodyguard. He's got a squire. He's a full-on, like, vassal knight, right? So he's got a wealthy vassal knight, so he's got a little entourage with him. So he hasn't quite caught up with this yet. I'm going to give everyone a recognize roll or a heraldry roll. Your choice.
Go recognize.
Recognize it has
critical.
points. Nope. Wow. I am failing left and right tonight.
You're not in bad company here, so there's been a lot of high rolls tonight.
Are you?
Yeah, true.
Oh, I thought you meant the other party on the road. It's like, is that the best we can tell with these rolls? That actually makes sense.
No,
They don't seem like bad guys. We'll let them pass.
So one crit in all failures beyond that.
Cool.
Sir Vadden's going to see the look on Sir Wayland's face and tell the others, hold. Who are they?
My horse will just keep, like, for another, like, obvious number of, like, maybe like 4 or 5 paces as he's like, no, we're good here. Nope, this was, damn it.
So for whatever reason, Wayland.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I might know the reason. This would be bad.
Oh boy.
If this is true.
Oh no!
That's
I
not
like
foreshadowing.
I don't know if that's true though. Actually, probably not.
Ah, Bob, you're killing me. And Tissa.
Give me a sec.
Patient.
No, we won't. Maybe. Hold on.
Let's do it. Whatever it is, let's do it. Let's see what happens. We can get out of anything, right? Suddenly, all the Fae and half a dozen dragons show up.
Yeah.
That was so
I
wrong.
cannot believe this.
Hey, I know them. Oh, not in this iteration, but hi.
Like, I was so wrong. I'm sorry. We were not prepared.
Okay. Yes. Yes, you do know this person. This is the second son of King Aele of Sussex. It's an eighthling, a prince of Sussex. The reason why you know of Kissa, Sissa.
I love Kissa.
Maybe that's Sissa because it's Saxon.
Oh, I totally did not mishear that. Not once.
Yeah, we'll go with Sissa. Neither of those sound really, like brave. So
No, they really don't.
Yeah.
Well, the cis peoples.
When okay, hold on. Just getting the year right. Yep. How old are you? How old is
22.
Yeah.
22 as well. Let me double check. 484. This is 505.
Yeah.
506. 505.
Waylon, do we know
So I'm like
anything?
21.
Waylon, do we know anything about your sire? Like who you
Nope,
were trained by?
We didn't do any Book of Sires or anything.
No. Specifically, who you were, who you trained under as a squire. Do you have anything in your
No.
backstory? Okay.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Your dad's King Ayla.
No.
Whoa.
Hi, Dad.
But the person who did train you to be a knight was exiled from Sussex. So what you know about that, because you were 14 when this happened, so you would have been synced up with him the next year, right? Would have been the year that you synced up with him became his squire.
Cool.
Let's give this guy a name just because we do that.
Yeah.
Gwadenirth. I love it.
Gwadenirth.
Yeah.
The Great Earth.
Sir Gwadenirth was a knight from Sussex. He fled the year before you were squired, and you know what happened there. There was a port town called Andrida, something like that.
Oh,
Here.
Doritos.
Burritos.
Let's do it that way.
Saying you have the munchies.
Mario Andretti.
So it's quite a known thing for some. You probably wouldn't know based on where you're from, if not for your sire. But after starving the residents for weeks in the town, they surrendered. They were then sacrificed to Woden. Every man, woman, and child in that town.
Nothing to fuck with.
One of the more sort of heinous acts seen during the time of Uther's reign, and this Kissa was the one who, or Sissa, or whatever his name is. He was the one to basically reinforce Aele in Sussex, and kind of is responsible for this whole thing. So,
Right. I've heard stories of this one, but he's named Sissa or Kissa, depending on tongue.
I like the idea that the Kimri can't say soft C's because everything's so in his own language it's Sissa, in Kimri it's Kissa. I like that.
Depends on which side of the river you stand on. Is
Right.
how you call them.
Oh, I thought that was a play on words on Kissa and tongue.
Honestly, as soon as I said it, it clicked for me, and I wish that it was intended, but alas.
Damn it.
I know.
Unintentional jokes are the best jokes. Let's be real.
It's just so ingrained. But yes.
So the question is, do you say anything because they're within earshot, right, as they approach, or what is Waylon's response? Because I think Vadin had declared out loud, seeing the look on your face.
And you said that that this Sissa Kissa person is the second, or is the child of Ailey?
You critted, so I'm going to give you a little more. He's the second son of Aele. Yeah.
Okay, cool. This man is the second son of Ailey. So, it appears it's exactly the sort of person that we're looking for.
Vadin's going to turn his horse around and ride back to the diplomat and let him know who's up ahead of us.
Onan sheathes the sword.
Yeah, Gladivir
Yep,
as well
yep.
is going to kind of hesitating for a moment, but will sheath his sword.
Yeah, you see their long spears have all gone out, and they're holding a defensive stance while they wait for this to happen. I need to know exactly what you tell the diplomat here. We had his name, but he's now off screen. Gorset. Yeah. Was it like that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. What exactly do you say to Gorset here?
I write back to Gorset and my lord, just reporting up ahead. Saxon's on the road. One of my companions recognized him as son of King Ayla, Sissa or Kissa or something.
Okay.
Oh no! Sir, we are trying to do a thing. You knew
that was a test to see how he responds to this information.
you knew there would be Saxons here. What's wrong with you? You were prepared.
It's a shame that Colric is too busy trying to keep his horse steady. He might have turned his head slightly at that moment and be like, "There's something in the wind all of a sudden."
You can give me an intrigue roll, Vadin, as you report that information back. It was Vadin who went back, right? Or did I get that mixed up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You see his eyes narrow at the mention of Sissa. And he nods. Says, "Keep the others on guard. This is not a man worthy of trust."
As you wish, my lord. And then he's going to turn his horse around and spur it up to the rest of the party and go. I let Sir Gorset know, and he said that this man's not to be trusted and to keep your guards up. We could be riding into a trap, or he just doesn't know. So be ready for anything.
Yeah, I suppose I could have told you that, but, given the... And he just kind of mutters as...
Vadin's going to flash a smile at Sir Wayland.
Oh, shit.
Sir.
He rides up to... As he rides up, Gorsid pats Colric on the arm and says... "Well, go on, Saxon. Announce me."
Oh man! Of course, you pick me as Colric is trying to figure out how he's going to handle this information. And I fumbled a prudent, which was to see how was he going to be cool about this? So I think this is going to go very poorly for Sir Colric, and he's just going to move forward.
Oh god!
And then the horse is going to kind of veer slightly, listing lazily to the left. Colric gets ready to announce Sir Gorset, or is that his title, Sir, or has he got another title?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Sir Gorset.
Okay. Oh yeah, no, that's sorry.
And then
the other one.
I think where the fumbling begins is, "Hail, Sir Gorset." Oh dear God, nope, that's not the way. Nope, sorry, I'll be right back. Oh God, I'm going into the trees. And again, I want to point out, it's not a lack of horsemanship skill. It's just the horse is just stubborn and old, wants to lay down.
Give me a horsemanship -5, just to represent the horse.
Let's see, yeah, because of course this animal has a mind of its own.
Yeah,
so there
would have been clearly successful for you if not for the stubbornness of the horse, right? So
yes,
you're doing everything right, but the horse says no. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where the fumble of this comes in. It's he starts, but then he's just very quickly oh nope, car crash imminent.
As you start to move forward, they raise their spears at you, sort of readying for some kind of ambush. And you hear the eighthling say, in Saxon, so I'm not sure anyone else will hear this. So Colric, you hear, "What is the meaning of this?"
Oh dear Lord. One moment, please. One moment. Oh, God. Oh, that was a branch to the face. Hold on. And I don't know if you want me to make another roll to try to get back onto the road, because
No,
otherwise
you
this
didn't.
could be a very
You
funny
didn't
side
fumble.
adventure.
You didn't fumble. It's just a little misstep. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you-
I come back around and I get back up to the road. My deepest apologies, sirs. As I look to both Gorset and Sissa, this is Sir Gorseth, emissary of the Duke Ulfius, Duke of Silchester, come to parley with your king. I hope I got everybody's titles right, but let's just assume that Kolric did.
I think Sissa says back in return. He says something in Saxon. You hear it, Kolric, but then his herald in relatively perfect Kimry says, "We did not receive advance notice that an entourage would be coming on behalf of the Duke."
Is he saying that to Kolric, or is he saying that to Gorseth?
He's saying it out loud. The herald speaks really loudly, projects his voice so everyone can hear that point.
So I will respond with, we offer our apologies. Birds being somewhat of a pricey thing, we are the best that we could offer in a advanced notice sort of thing. Our time is short, as we have been led to believe.
Gorsid can't understand what you're saying, but he kind of rides closer to you to speak in your ear in Kimry, and he says, "Tell them to stand aside and let us do our job."
My lord, if you give me just a moment, I may have had this under control. Give me, please, just one moment.
He
and then
sighs.
I'm gonna ask Sissa if we can speak for the benefit of all in the Kimry tongue.
I will give you an intrigue test.
Well, this will go swimmingly. Actually, I think intrigue is one of my family things. Oh, it's a 10. Whatever. Nope, I'm just gonna fail everything tonight.
No, it's all good. Carry on. Forget I said anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So you asked for the good of for all to speak in the Kimry tongue. One sec.
Correct. Otherwise, I will translate, I suppose, because I'll have to.
All right. Kisses Herald says, "Very well. We can speak in the tongue of the Britons," he says.
Much appreciated. As I said, this is Sir Gorseth, emissary of the Duke of Silchester, come to speak with the King of Sussex. We apologize for lack of advance notice, but time is short, as they say. And at this point, I'll look over to Sir Gorseth and let him continue from there, because I definitely don't want to overstep my bounds.
Sir Gorseth nods and kind of rides forward, keeping the diplomacy at front and center, but not so much that he's able to hide his disdain for Sissa. He says, "We are here to speak to your father, Atheling. The Kisses says something to his herald, and the herald says, the Atheling has made it known that any news for his father is any news that's meant for his father can be provided to his son. We are one family united, or they are one family united." You all can tell that Gorsid's not okay with that, and he's probably going to say something here. I don't know if anyone wants to try and convince him. I mean, you are like right there beside him, right? So,
Can I oh god, this would be such a social failure thing, but I want to say something in Saxon to the Saxons and be kind of like give them a heads up that he's not very fond of the Saxons and maybe just try to be patient, something diplomatic-y sounding that wouldn't be terrible for him to say out loud.
We hate you.
Yeah, listen, we all know we hate each
Listen,
other, but
this
for the good of the realm.
This guy really hates you. You should watch
Yeah.
it back.
Yeah, like I kind of like.
Anyway, we're here for peace talks.
Yeah, like I don't want to throw
Okay.
him completely under the bus or anything, you know. But
all right,
like,
just let's put that on pause. I got an idea for you. I just want to check in with everyone else, so see if anyone else wants to make any actions here.
Sir Vadden's going to speak up, and he said, "Then you're welcome to hear it at the same time we tell your father. Please escort us to his location."
Anyone else with any motives or goals? If not, I'll proceed with those two.
I think that works for me.
Okay. I will get hearing nothing, I'll get a roll on courtesy for Vadden and one for Colric as well.
did you want me to roll? I'm only asking for clarity because I thought you broke up.
Yeah,
for a second.
courtesy.
Okay.
Am I breaking up for people in general right now?
Just
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah,
Okay, one-
just a little bit. Nothing
Once-
too bad.
1 sec, then I'm gonna fix
succeeded.
that. If that happens,
succeeded.
okay, so there's a look of frustration from Sissa, but he says something in a whisper in Saxon to his herald, and the herald says, "The Atheling accepts your proposal. Welcome to Sussex." And with that, they will escort you in.
Maybe that's how we made such good time.
I think Waylon, for his part, given that normally he very much enjoys riding towards the front, will allow maybe one or two of the other knights to go in front so as not to betray himself by a lingering stare or, a scowl or anything.
Understood?
No, Vadden is not going to the front.
I think Waylon will just wait for the old horse of Sir Colric to just sort of pull ahead and then be like, all right, bet.
I love how you failed that roll, and the tone in your voice was like, "Nope, I'm not doing that." I just love how that worked out.
Oh,
man.
I was all set for Vadden's going to ride all the way up at the front so he can keep a good eye on these people. And he's like, nope, I'm just going to... I'm going to chill back here with Wayland.
I think Colric attempts to stay. I think actually, Colric just found a useful slot for him. He is going to remain close to Sir Gorseth, as close as he's allowed, as far as not officially being part of his entourage, but being part of his escort, and basically try to be on hand for any translating that Gorseth might want. And also, perhaps, in a way to keep him from trying to murder everyone.
Vadden, I want you to make,
politely.
since you made a valorous roll, I want you to make a cowardly roll here.
I also made a valorous roll. Would you like me to roll cowardly?
I don't know if you really have knowledge of who Sissa is, because you failed your folklore earlier, right?
I had passed the first folklore. I can make a second folklore.
Wait. Past the folklore, failed to recognize.
Right.
The
Oh, you made it
folklore was
right.
about the path.
Yeah.
The folklore
failed
was
the
about
heraldry.
the path rolls and stuff.
Yeah. So the
paths.
recognize determines you don't know Sissa
Okay.
by any sort of worrisome. Okay, so Vadden, you can take prudent rather than cowardly in that case.
Okay.
So your lack of valor is not a cowardice. It's a I'll be careful here. Sort of
Prudence.
thing.
Let's get some standoff distance between me and them.
In
Mhm.
case you need
Reaction
to charge.
time.
I see what you're doing. In case you need to charge him.
Mm.
Yeah, I think Colrick will just try to stay close to Gorset just so he can translate or, maybe sort of try to keep him from speaking out of line or doing something discourteous.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to be brought in to treat with King Ale in his court. Present there is you meet not only Ale but his heir. You know what? I'm just going to go with
AMC.
yeah. I'm going to go with K's Kellen. So we're going to say it's Kellen and Kissa.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because I go
Cuddle
by
and
I
kissy.
use Kerdick as well, so it's only
Yeah.
appropriate. And Quitchelm, so it must be
Choleric.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you're brought in. You are highly outnumbered by Saxons, and Ale stands tall. I'm curious. I'm gonna go ahead and give people once again heraldry, folklore, or recognize roles for Ale and kind of who he is as a person here.
I think I'll go. Well, folklore is usually meant for like the peasantry, so I'll go with
Right.
guys. Nope. Nothing.
Heraldry apply?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I just ruled mine out because I only have 3 points in it.
Cladivir.
I forgot I put on push a talk. Yep.
Okay. So for those that succeeded, we'll say you kind of know enough about Ale in a sense of. I'm just gonna see how far back. Yeah. Okay. So Ale's sort of first keynote in the British Isles. They landed on the shore in 477. So just before the times of Aurelius and Uther. Actually, during Aurelius. So during the period of Aurelius's march, they were here. They'd landed and taken over South Seax as their own. These lands once belonged to the Regnices. So again, before you were all sort of, this game is very anachronistic. So before you all became the knights you are now, you were tribal peoples not very long ago, and the Regnices people were more or less completely displaced from Sussex. You can check your date too. So it's 505 right now. So before most of you were born. Right?
Yep.
With the exception, I think, only of Theodric. I think Theodric's the only one.
And even then, probably not by much. It
Yeah.
would have been his
Right, I was gonna say,
infancy.
Theo is getting old. He's like gonna be hitting 35 this year?
Yeah, so you were 7 years old when
Or
that
34 this year. Yeah, still very young.
happened. So you're brought before the court. Ale has it. You can tell he's got the eyes of like a veteran warrior, someone who's seen a battlefield himself quite directly. People that have killed people just have a certain look in their eyes. You can tell he's not the pompous, noble sort. He's certainly done some fair share of his own killing. He spends time he gets up and begins to walk in like a circle around you all. And as he's doing that, he locks eyes with each and every one of you. Just kind of just studying you as he walks through. And then he goes back to his point of height, which is at the front and center of things. And he looks to all of you and says, "Welcome then, diplomats from Silchester."
Thank you for having us for these
Yeah.
talks.
I think Ulrich will offer something in Saxon, some traditional Saxon greeting, but I think there'll also be a bit of an edge in his voice because, of course, he also does not particularly like these Saxons. He's just aware that he's not here to murderize them. He's here to talk to them. So he's trying to be polite and everything. And then he'll say something greeting-y in Kimrick as well, for the benefit of his traveling companions.
Onan's just going to do a courtesy nod bow, as would be typical of, I guess, a Duke level noble.
Uh-oh. Bob's
Yeah.
rolling to see if I get punched in the face. Yep, I get punched in the face.
Hey, you ever just get punched in the face? Like, love that. Great hobby.
It's a traditional Sussex greeting.
Oh my god.
What's the nose break? Oh, that's the nose break. Yeah. Your chief diplomat missteps a little bit, and he says, "Forgive me, my king, but things are urgent here. We have come only to speak to you about our concern over Wessex." And Ailey interrupts him right away and says, "I assumed so. Your impatience is not my concern. You can wait as long as I'm willing to speak, or you can return back home empty-handed." And he'll kind of go around and almost like dismiss Gorsid, and instead kind of entertain the rest of you. Let's see if he...
Ulrich is going... When Ulrich sees that, he is going to watch Gorsit very closely to see what he's about to do, because he has a bad feeling suddenly.
Oh,
course.
trust me, I do too.
Gorsid's
This is
clearly
murder
fuming.
Gorset, and we have to find a way to get back into Ulfius's good graces.
Gorsit
Kill
is
him.
fuming. Gorsit is fuming, but he's not doing anything otherwise. So at that point,
Are we getting vibes that maybe he's possible? He knows more. Is he just is? Do you think he's relishing, or do we get vibes that he's just relishing that he's needed and he's in a position of power? Or is there something more devious going on? Maybe.
make a suspicious roll.
Okay.
Whoa.
Ooh.
What's your hate Saxons?
I don't have. Do I have it? I don't have.
Oh, you're from like way over
Yeah,
elsewhere.
yeah,
right?
I'm in from Wervensis. We are Wervensis, so I'm not.
Do you have no
So-
hate Saxons?
I don't either.
I don't think I do. It didn't come up in the character creation.
Gladivir, do you have hate Saxons?
Let me see really quick.
Just making sure we correct those. If not,
He should definitely have it.
I actually do not.
okay. Gladivir, you're from where again? Originally?
What's it called? Hartford? Or sorry, not Hartford.
Okay.
He was in somewhere from where the angles wiped out.
Yeah. Roll 2d6 plus 6, Gladivir.
Heartland. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Is that the-
Sorry, how many d6 was that?
2d6 plus 6.
Okay.
If it was the angles, isn't that the Utes or Juts or whatever the pronunciation?
They're in
is?
Kent.
Yeah. Oh, that's Kent. That sounds right.
You have hate Saxon at 15.
Ooh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be difficult to keep that under control.
Person from Warensis, you would also have hate Saxons, but it's just 3d6.
Okay.
And what about Vadin? Because he's from Pendragon.
You would have hate Picts at 3d6.
Dare you? Them's my peoples. Them Scots. I mean, to be fair, everybody hates the pigs.
What down?
No, by everybody I meant everybody in Britain and
What does
Braveheart and stuff. But I
well, I
digress.
guess let me.
What was the question? Okay.
I don't. I don't know. I'm rolling my 8 Saxons right now.
Okay.
Oh goodness.
You have
my.
a 16. You are famous for hating Saxons. So this is a new piece for you. Let's maybe spend a minute to figure out what happened. I think, have we figured out anything about your father, Yanin?
We haven't figured it out. I think that the background of mine was somewhere the family property was taken away at some point. So maybe Saxons did it. I don't know. Or maybe they killed family.
The easiest answer for this is there was a major betrayal during your grandfather's time called the Night of the Long Knives. So effectively it was supposed to be like a peace treaty, peace discussion with the Saxons, and the Saxons red weddinged the whole thing. So almost
butchering.
Almost everyone was butchered and murdered. Only a couple of people got out. And that was a very long time ago. But it stings true is probably the death of your grandfather brought a great hate in your father, and maybe he passed that on to you.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Well, you could tie that to with the grandfather dying, the homestead property, whatever, fell into disrepair and collapsed.
Yeah, brought a ruining of your house.
It's really family. That's why I'm a mercenary now.
Yeah, I like it.
Is there a place in the character sheet that I'm missing for where I put hate at?
It's under passions.
In the
It's in your
passions, you
passions.
have the add button. You can add more passions.
Okay.
Aeon, and do we need to keep you under lock and key as well for your famous hatred of these people?
I could say rhetorically, he probably doesn't look very happy right now.
Yeah, make a courtesy roll real quick, Yanin. We'll see how you've been doing so far with it. If you pass this, I don't think anyone knows. If you fail it, then maybe somebody's has the opportunity to recognize it. But
Okay, there you go. Look, everything's fine, guys. We're keeping our cool.
Yeah.
No one is aware. No one is aware that you have this. I know it's supposed to be a famous trait. That's not necessarily how it works all the time. It's famous in your lands. People have to know who you are. People don't really know who you are here, like aside from those you've ridden with. So unless you've shared a lot, like you probably haven't had a lot of encounters with Saxons in front of these people right now. We're going to assume no. We're going to assume no one's aware. You've been able to keep that hate boiling under your skin a little bit.
I think
everybody forget the last 5 minutes.
I think for Colric, it's like I'm new to this group and I've only been riding with you guys for a few days. So yeah, I totally missed all of the social cues that says Yanin does not like Saxons.
I passed the suspicious check.
Mm-hmm. So passing that effectively, I think with your hate of Saxons now,
I assume bad.
Yeah. You assume that there's more to this for sure. So Ale walks around and then he kind of stops and approaches Theodric. And he kind of walks up to him. Ale is sized 19. Is that taller than you, Theodric? I'm assuming
it's
so.
A little taller than me.
How
I'm
tall is your size?
17.
Yeah, okay. So you're tall. He'll do that thing, the UFC eye to eye look. He gives you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm gonna see if he recognizes you. Because what's your glory?
I have 23, 29, though I do have 25 from the last session.
He says something in Saxon. I think I forgot that you probably have like a very minor acquaintance to
I was gonna ask, do I actually know any of the
very
Saxon
little.
language?
Very little. You hear it better than you speak it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So for both Colric and Theodric, Colric, you can make an awareness test to see if you overhear this. Everyone else just hears him say this in a whisper.
Ooh, I heard it.
Okay, you hear the words too. He looks at Theodric and he says, "Do they call you Saxon lover?"
Oh, I think he's getting ready to do something that would probably end this very quickly.
Oh, okay.
But he's holding himself back.
Are you though? Let's.
I think he would.
Yeah.
Yes, very deeply offended. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
Give me.
He's not gonna go assault a king.
Yeah. Give me a prudent roll. Give me a +5 because you're also in a king's court. So yeah. Okay, you're good. Yeah. So it doesn't. You're able to swallow it down to the point where it's clear you're just fuming, but that's it. And then he kind of continues on. He'll walk by. He kind of stops and looks at Gladivir. Gladivir, what size are you?
18.
Yeah, so you're pretty close to eye with him. I think he notices that you aren't taking your eyes off him, and he'll walk up in front of you and just lock eyes with you. And he says, "I've seen that look in your eye many times. You must have lost family on the Saxon shore." And his he says this in perfect Kimmery, or not perfect, broken Kimmery, but very, very, very
understandable.
Audible. Yeah, very understandable. Yeah.
Gladivir will kind of somewhat stiffly will say, "You are very perceptive."
He nods. And with that,
Of course I am.
Haven't you seen my pride? So he'll separate himself and turn his back, almost showing a lack of fear for what you might do with his back turned. And he starts to back up to near his throne, and he turns and says, "There is much hate in these lands that will not die with our generations. However, Duke Ulfius is our ally. We have made such and prepared such. As so, I will leave you all with information. You should know that King Cerdic sets his army out this year with support of the chief of port. They've called for our support, but it is unclear where they will be assaulting. If they invade the lands of Silchester, we will be there to support Ulfius. And with that, he says, have you any questions?
I want to ask something out of character really quick. Part of our understanding for coming here and asking for Ayla's help was because the Essex were going to attack? Or was it because of the Wessex? Am I getting the two confused? It's entirely possible.
Nope, you're not getting the two confused.
Okay. So we are here initially under the auspices of Wessex attacking, and now he's giving us... Also, these other guys are going to attack.
Essex was going to attack. The word we got was Essex was going to attack Silchester, and now he's telling us that Wessex and Port are going to attack someone, but he doesn't know who.
Gotcha.
But if they do attack Silchester, then he will be there.
Okay. So in that case, I think Colric will look over the rest of the party because he's fully aware that he's the new guy, but he also speaks Saxon, so he doesn't really want to step on anybody else's toes, but also is maybe somebody should point out that that's not why we're here, but also this is good news or good to know rather.
My Lord King, if I may, we were sent here by Duke Ulfius in regards to a potential attack coming from Essex, not Wessex. Are you telling us that we could be facing a fight on two fronts?
He smiles and nods. That is exactly what I am telling you.
Bob, I want to roll reckless for a moment, and on success, which I might succeed. It's possible that Colric is going to have a ridiculous idea, but it might work. Never mind.
See him raise one finger up briefly and then lower it.
Exactly. Exactly what that happened.
Yeah.
My Lord King, if I may, how many troops are you able to bring to bear if we are facing such a potential threat from three of the kingdoms in our immediate area? And have you heard any word of the intentions of Kent?
He shakes his head. I believe Kent is busy with London. I've heard no
out of
such
character.
thing.
That's a little twist of the knife there.
Yeah.
I believe they're busy with the last battle that you all lost.
Exactly. He says, my armies will stand ready if Silchester is invaded. Then they will be defended.
If.
You can all test battle because there's some key points in that.
Success.
Oh my god.
Buddies.
Oh my god. I am not getting shit for rolls here tonight. This is amazing. This is even worse too. Actually, no. You know what? I think what happens. Well, I don't want to step on what Bob's about to do here. So I have an idea on what this fumble looks like, and it actually ties into why he was making a reckless roll earlier.
And maybe wait on that to see where things are going.
Yeah.
I think for those that did succeed, quite clearly. So it's just Waylon and Gladivir, and Vadin.
And Vadin.
Yep. He's being very distinct about his wording, and you're aware enough from what the mission was called for that he's here on a defense pact with Ulfius, which means defense. It by his wording and admission, it doesn't sound like he has any intention of attacking or counterattacking or anything of the sort. Simply defending Silchester's lands, which requires then someone to actually invade Silchester. All you heard about Essex is that they were bringing an army out, right? Not clarity on where their army would set. And now you're hearing that Wessex is bringing an army out, but no clarity on where they are going.
Real quick, Praetor Jonathel does not. It sounds not Saxon. Is he?
Yeah, he's
like a leftover Roman.
Yep. Yeah, he's a Roman. A lot of the old Civitas still have Roman culture, including Silchester, the city, still has Roman culture in it. Most of the land outside of the Civitas is Kimri. Praetor Jonathel is an independent praetor from Dorset. The only thing you'd be aware of there is that they defended an invasion from Cornwall a couple years back. Cornwall basically ripped through what used to be the Duchy of Cornwall, which was part of Logris. They ripped through from Terrabil all the way to Ilchester, and now they're invading Summerland. Yeah.
Ooh.
He's going to look at the king and say, "I think I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate you honoring your pact." And he's going to turn to the Sir Gorset, "My lord, is there anything else that our mission requires of us?"
Didn't Gorset leave? Wasn't he dismissed? Or is he still?
No, he's still standing there. It's the king's ignoring him.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
He'll look to you all and to Gorset and say, "I invite you all to stay and feast and ride out in the morning. At
Ulrich
which
here's feast, and he's ready to go.
At which, they bring out stuff, and you see like swan neck pudding, and you smell like a yummy broth, and
the pizza.
It smells delicious. I need everyone to make a test on suspicious, and if you have hate Saxons that famous, suspicious should be added as a +5.
I already had it queued up. I was about to do it anyway.
I think it was Asquin's comment to Theo. Can I give myself a directed trait of suspicious of him?
Sure. I'll allow it. Roll a d6.
Oh, wow.
The only one not suspicious is the Saxon.
Yeah, am I really the only one that's like, yeah, let's dig in?
Well, we're going to find that out because it's a separate thing, because you guys have been riding for days. So the next thing we're going to do is everyone who's suspicious, you can put a... okay, let me think about how to say this properly. We're going to be doing a temperate roll or an indulgent roll. If you're not famous in either, but let me finish before anyone queues anything up. So if you're not famous in either, you get to pick which one. If you succeeded at your suspicious, if you're rolling temperate, you're rolling it 1 with a +5. If you're rolling indulgent, oh wait, hold on. I'm trying to do this in my head here. Effectively, your suspicious should add as a bonus to your let's get out of here, which is your temperate roll, and it should add as a penalty to want to indulge. If you didn't succeed at suspicious, you can just roll normal, and you get to pick which one. This is just what your instinct is, to either get out of here or to stay and eat.
I'm going to ask a question that may or may not make a lot of sense, but as I look around the group, and I'm wondering why everybody's like making like maybe a second guessing whether or not they dive in.
Everyone's suspicious but hungry.
Yeah, everybody's suspicious but me is what it looks like. And so now I'm like, should I choose to maybe, or do I just dive in?
Oh!
Yeah. Onan, you get a 16 in temperate now. And that's 15 glory for you.
You're famously temperate now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everyone who failed temperate gets to roll indulgent now.
Additionally, with the
Yep.
okay, and that was a -5.
5.
-5. Okay. Mother of fuck.
Me too.
Come on, guys, it's great food, isn't it?
I mean, you get a shovel off of the horse. I mean,
And just to be clear for Yanin, you don't have to with the crit temp. So, is that everybody? So everyone other than Yanin is.
I want to be clear though. I failed the suspicious roll, so I don't have any modifiers or anything other than the fact that everybody else around me is like second guessing.
But they're not any. Well, they are second guessing, but everyone looks like they're wanting to stay. So Gorsid,
because I'm digging in.
Gorsid. To be clear for this, Gorsid is not wanting to stay. He's wanting to return home immediately, and but he can't say that out loud without bringing some shame to him, like a breach of etiquette at court. So he's silent. The rest of you feel just weak from the road, like a week without much in the way of food. Like, I think you're all very, very tempted to. It's like, what's one day, right? I won't make succeed. I won't make a success keep you here, but that indulgent score will matter. So if you guys can still opt to leave, even though you're all indulgent here. And Yanin, just to be clear, if you stick around in because everyone else does, you just will fast, right? You're like, I don't need their wine. I don't trust their wine. I don't need their wine. And I don't need their food. But for everyone else, you feel a real desire to eat and take a break from the road. That doesn't have to overdo your suspicion of wanting to get out of here or a sense of urgency to get back. It just is a real tough scenario. You're not going to be happy about having to leave here if you do decide to leave here. Skip the meal, I mean.
So Gladivir did succeed on the temperate as well. So he's kind of leaning towards whatever, probably leaving.
Yeah.
But he's not going to. He's still kind of following the etiquette of court as best as he can, and isn't necessarily making a big fuss of it. So he's going to kind of follow what the rest of his companions choose to do.
Okay, we'll sweeten the pot a bit here. Gorsid says, "Thank you, King, for this, for your hospitality, but we have work elsewhere to see to." And with that, Gorsid acts like he's going to leave with the proper, etiquette and such. But just as he goes to do so, King Ale says, "Well, we Saxons aren't as proper as you, Kimry, of course. So, if any of you would like to stay and treat with us, you're more than welcome." Sort of just like undermining Gorsed's authority.
Ooh.
Mm,
Ooh.
yeah. Ooh.
Sir Vadin's going to form up on Sir Gorset because that's the paycheck, so he's heading that way.
Yep, that's what I'm doing as well.
God damn it. Because Colrick is like, this food, it looks so good.
Yeah.
I'm so hungry. Like,
Ugh.
trail rations are great, but I am hungry and it's right there. And damn it, the boss wants to go. So I guess I gotta go with the boss. And I'm just staring longingly at the food as I'm slow, like, 3-year-old trying to linger as long as possible before heading out to the door because mom says it's time to go.
Yeah, Wayland very much looks like he's like, okay, yeah, I'm fine. And then like the stewed fruits come out, and there's just like a longing look as he just looks at it over the shoulder, but following Gorset, just like.
I think Colrix is just like, I swear I smelled bacon. Damn it.
Because no one stayed, you're not going to get a tick on indulgent, even though you all
It's probably
passed it.
good because that might have gotten me killed.
That's good. Yeah.
That would make
Let's
it
go
that would make
on
it a
that.
famous trait.
Well, my suspicion is that we need to get back and warn Duke Ulfius of what's going on, and he's trying to delay us. But he could have just been trying to be friendly, but that wasn't how the rest of his interaction went. He was trying to be... Well, I mean, he trying to flex.
Totally.
No, there was no trying. He straight up flexed when he said, "You carry it."
Okay. Here we go. We get to now ride back to Silchester. At whatever pace that y'all can, and here's how we decide that. I'm gonna start with energetic rolls. If you passed, so in the case, hold on, before anyone rolls anything, Ianin, you're making energetic +5. Gladivir, you're making energetic straight. Everyone else is energetic -5. As you like realize the meal that you passed up, and how much more energy you would have, sort of can't help.
I never pass the ones I want to pass.
I'm
Oh,
holding
okay.
strong.
Did everyone kill that?
It looks like it, yeah, so far.
Yeah.
Onan failed.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna let Onan fail on a crit because his crit temperate. I don't think that's fair. So we're gonna. Maybe I should have done a +10 there. Yeah. I like the idea that Onan's crit on temperate means that he's able to ride without any sort of. What I shouldn't have done is just not had him roll. Actually, right? Like that's the condition of his temperate. So all of you, yeah, I guess your desire. Let's turn this into a tick. I'll let you tell me one at a time. We're just going to go through the list and tell me what is motivating you to return home. Theodric.
It's that comment he made privately, and he just doesn't trust Ace Quinn at this point.
Okay. Yeah, tick suspicious. Vadin. What's motivating you?
The news that Wessex and Port could also be invading, and Silchester could be caught in a sledgehammer pincer move between the two of them. He wants to get back and warn Duke Ulfius.
Okay. Is this no? This is a good question for you. Is this because you are starting to adopt a loyalty to Ulfius, or is this for the betterment of the realm? What do you see this as, or is it? I'll be damned before I let another inch of this realm be taken by Saxons. Like, what's motivating?
I think it's leaning more towards loyalty because we've been operating here for he got knighted here, and he spent his entire basically, I wouldn't not adult life, but nightly life here
Okay.
in Silchester. So yeah, it's starting to form a loyalty to Duke
Roll
Ulfius.
3d6. Okay. You have a loyalty to Ulfius at 10 that you can add to your sheet, Loyalty Lord, and you can tick it. All right. What about Gladivir? What's motivating Gladivir?
Gladivir is already kind of. So he was already suspicious. He was already, just doesn't like Saxons, and he's famously temperate. So everything was kind of pointing him in this direction already. But I think ultimately it is that temperance of like he's not about to sit down and eat after hearing the news, especially with Saxons.
I'm not going to eat with no Sax.
Yeah. He's like already like temperate, so it's like it's he was already like going to be holding himself back anyways. But combined with the Saxon, it's not happening. There's
tick prudent, tick temperate.
All right.
Wayland, what about you?
I think for Wayland, it was a bit of his past coming to face him when he wasn't ready for it. And he makes very much like a show of, yeah, I'll do anything for the story. But this was very much, this is not what we're here for. And, if we're dilly-dallying here, there's a possibility that we'll miss out on something else.
Yeah, tick prudent. Yanin.
So Ronan, I mean, he got suspicious twice, and so he's definitely got bad vibes. He wants to get away from there and wants to, make sure that the news is delivered. But some of this goes back to maybe some developing loyalty to Ulfius too. That,
Okay.
wants to do the
3d6.
job.
Let's do 3d6 for Loyalty Lord.
I have underneath my passions Loyalty Lord 14 already, but I guess that's to my family's Lord in Pendragon.
Right. So you can add
if they still
another.
exist.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I added another one. I just want to make sure I did that right.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, very loyal.
Goodness.
So loyalty to Ulfius is 15.
Copy.
And Kolric.
Yeah, I think Kolric is. I think on one hand he's food motivated. He had this opportunity to be with other Saxons, which he hates these other Saxons. Let's be clear on that. But it's not a terribly high hate. It's only 12, which may seem slightly high, but regardless. The food was brought out. Everything, at least on the surface, appeared to Kolric to be on the up and up. And then Gorseth says, no, we're not staying. And we're leaving. And so now Kolric, on one hand, wants to get home to get a good, warm meal. Trail food is fine, but a good, warm meal is great. I think there's also some part of him that's like, we know that there's possibly two different nations marching on Silchester, which means battle, which means we need to get back, make sure things are prepared, and let's get into the fight. Let's make some money.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of a couple of different things motivating him to get back.
Yeah, I think you're. I'm gonna tick indulgent for you on that. I think that's fun.
Course.
The
It definitely checks out.
Yeah.
Food motivation is a thing.
I'm gonna get you to also tick hospitality.
Okay.
Because I think you made an emphasis that it seemed like a legitimate show of hospitality.
Well, it seemed legitimate because I failed all my rolls, but
yeah,
that's what that means.
It is what it is. Yep.
Yeah.
And then your battle's real low, right? 5?
Yeah, battle's 5.
I'll give you a tick on battle. Okay. It's not. I don't want to give you prudence. It's more of a matter of we need to go and get battle readied. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And which is like
Wouldn't
some
have
of the
given that
stuff
to you if you had a 10 or above. Like I'm only giving that to you because of the 5.
Yeah.
So,
And I think it makes sense though, because like in the middle of all that, he was like, "Well, can we convince Ayla to attack Wessex and throw them off, and thereby release some of that?" Now he's not thinking all that deeply with it, but that's like the idea he has is like, well, maybe if you attack them, but then Ayla's like, "Oh nope, defense pack only. We're staying right here otherwise." I was like, "Okay, I guess
all
we'll
right.
go fight them."
Now we get to the fun part of who is this once again Theodric leading the troop back?
I'd assume so.
Okay. By the
Yes.
way, when you leave the Saxon lands, that old stick in the mud, Gord said, he's a much more reasonable knight once you get out of that scenario. Like your first bit of the trip with him wasn't terrible. Like he just became very problematic within that encounter with Kissa and then beyond. So why don't we get that hunting roll from Theodric? All right. And I will get a D10 roll from Anin.
Okay.
It's a regular old D10. Okay. Yeah, you make are you all actually you all succeeded at energetic, so it's gonna be pretty good time. I imagine you're riding hard to get back. 3 days total. So
Love
you
food.
Nice.
Yeah. So you clear good time, probably riding hard and later into the evening than you normally would, but you're following the trail that you came down in Theodric. If you don't have hunting ticked, you can, of course.
I do have it ticked.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. Nevertheless, everyone who passed energetic gets a ticket, which is everybody. Actually, maybe that's what we'll do for you, Anin, is you didn't have to roll it, so you don't get a tick on it. Does that make sense?
Affirmative.
Yeah. All right. So you managed to make your way back to Ulfius's keep. There's very little like on the road while you're here. There's really nothing new or abnormal. And you are brought before Ulfius to report in. I'll give you guys a minute to see if there's anything specific you want to add, or want to get your story straight or anything of the such before you stand before Ulfius.
Yeah, I mean, I think the general information is that King Ayla will march to defend Silchester's territory, but only Silchester's territory. Essex is confirmed coming per King Ayla. Kent is unknown, but likely not coming because they're busy with London. Wessex and Port are gathering armies to march somewhere, but we don't know where. They could be going to Silchester, Salisbury, or Dorset. King Ayla did not know. Was there anything else we needed to add to that?
I would just think to make certain that we mentioned that they're certainly holding to the defense notion of the pact. That if we are attacked, they will come to our aid. However,
Yeah, they're just defending Silchester territory. They're not going on the offensive.
They're not going anywhere else or any of our allies specifically.
All right. I'm just gonna put us on break for like 2 minutes, and then we're gonna do a short scene with Ulfius, and then we will wrap for the session. So,
Sounds good.
All right.
all right. I'll see you all very shortly. do this because I don't have a lot of time, and I want y'all to have some closure for this session. As you all are being brought in to speak to Ulfius, I want you all to make recognize rolls. Oh, or heraldry.
Oh dear.
Are there any modifiers to the roll?
Not in this case, because there's a lot, so it's just a matter of... Dang.
Ooh, Gladivere.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Is that two criticals?
Yunin!
That's two criticals, and I
be a happy
succeeded.
face. I read Theodic's roll and I was like, oh.
I read your roll and I was like, did I actually just crit that? No, I did.
Yeah, hard. No.
Big
All
sad.
right, we have a rule. When you roll a crit on something that's under a 5, you just automatically get it up a level and tick it. So
Nice.
Right.
Oh, it goes up and gets ticked.
yeah.
Right.
Skills specifically. I don't think we do that
Yeah,
for
yeah.
anything else.
Well, I succeeded, but it wasn't a critical. But I'm amazed that I succeeded. So
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give very distinct information for a couple of you. So Colric, all of you, let's start with, because no one fumbled. All of you, as you're walking in to give this information to Ulfius, you pass by a number of nobles that are exiting. It looks like they were just in with the Duke. All of them wear an array of different fashion and heraldry and such. So that's what the people that failed, that's what you get. Then we'll go to the success for Colric. You recognize one of the diplomats as a diplomat from Lindsay, one of Duke Corneus's men.
okay.
And then the crits will be for the harder stuff. Gladivere, you recognize one of the diplomats is... you recognize two things. You recognize Ulfius' son, Ufo. Was in this entourage. But you also see beside him, the crit comes from a diplomat from Salisbury.
Okay.
And for Yanin, you recognize a diplomat from... you're from Orensis, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You recognize a diplomat from the county of Lambor, which is just north of Orensis. Sir Adar is his name. He's someone that would have fallen to Ninteliot during his time. So his if he's still around in that area, he's considered part of the kingdom of Escavalon, not part of the kingdom of Logris anymore. And all of them pass you by as you exit. So it looks like a rather big smattering of major noble figures here, right? I think it's the sense you all get as you are brought in to Ulfius.
Ulrich has his opinions, but this may not be the time for him to mention that. And the other people probably would have figured it out as well. So.
Mm-hmm. So Gorsid gives a summary of what was done there. He's pretty just. So let's just see. Yeah, you know what? One thing you guys notice is Gorsid names a number of your qualities for you. So he doesn't glory hog this scenario.
Oh.
Nice.
So all of you...
Maybe he's not such a jerk.
Yeah. We'll just give all of you 2d10. I don't want to do 1d20. That's kind of crappy. But this will be like extra glory you get. If you roll 2 1s,
I rolled 2 1s, but it's 11.
You know what, Vadin? I think there's a rather undercutting of Vadin specifically in that. So you can take that as a slight if you want, but there seems to be like maybe because you were acting sort of a part of a leader, right? So maybe there's a bit of a threat there, or for whatever reason he seems to short sell you.
Yeah, I definitely kind of usurped his stepped into his shoes and performed the diplomat work.
It's not that he doesn't speak positively of me, it's that he does so in the most narrow way possible. Is kind of what you're left with.
And Sir Vadin was very helpful in his own way.
Yeah, exactly. Vadin was very good at receiving and accomplishing orders, something like that. Makes you look like you're not the capable sort of leader that you might have reflected as. Ulfius nods with this and says, "Excellent. You all did well. It's good to know that, at the very least, that Ale speaks as if his word can be trusted. Who's to know with the Saxons? We'll keep a watchful eye, but we don't have much in the way of choice."
It's quite so.
Very well. You've all served me well this day. If you wish, we are taking on mercenaries. We'll be raising our army.
Ulrich will take like one step forward. He won't say anything, but he'll just take a step forward, indicating interest in serving as a hired sword for him.
He looks around to see for the rest of you who aren't. So Theodric, that means you're going to war, Theodric, just automatically.
I already figured I was. That is my game plan.
Yeah. What about for Vadin, Gladivir, and Wayland, and Anand? What do you do at the mention of taking on mercenaries for war?
My lord, how much are you offering for our services?
That makes so much sense, though.
I mean,
dollars and cents.
Also, yeah.
Okay, I didn't mean the pun side of that, but you got me.
Just real quick, Bob, outside of this, probably between sessions, last session it came up that we should be tracking, I guess, finances. But prior to that mention, we hadn't really done anything with finances as far as costs of things or payment for like the battles that we fought in or services rendered.
Yeah, so just have a list of...
We have to kind of work that out.
Yeah, have a list of the battles. Or I think I have been clear on tracking, but I think I've given you guys Libram for the things you've done. So I don't know. Typical battles would be 2 Libram. But yeah, we'll sort that out in between because I'm running out of time here. But we'll definitely do that.
Onan will enthusiastically go, my lord, you have my sword in the coming fight.
Okay. What about Gladivir?
Gladivir will definitely speak up and say, "You will have my sword as well."
And Wayland?
Well, I seem to have grown rather fond of this group, and if they're on your side, then I shall fight with you too.
As for your question, Sir Vadin, I'll be offering the base rate of 1 Libram for your services rendered per battle. If you find yourself on the first vanguard, or on the vanguard, then you will find 1 Libram more in compensation.
Then that's where I would like to be.
Out of character, you know that some of that comes from taking ransoms, right? That's the gambling side of it. So your pay-in is the risk of death that you get your 1 librum for, and then you have an opportunity to make incredible wealth through ransoms, right? So
Yeah.
It's just finding the opportunities and succeeding and not dying, which is always the hard part.
Always the important part.
With that news, Orpheus will dismiss you, but I want you all to make an intrigue test around gossip for what people are saying here. All right, and we'll see if you guys want to talk about this as it happens. But Colric, you're from around these lands, so you get some bits in the way of gossip, and Anin you will as well Theodric, for being part of these lands. If any of you don't have intrigue ticked, you can tick it for those that succeeded. So for Colric, and actually for all 3 of you, it looks as if the messenger sent to Lev Kamagas has not returned. And so Ulfius with the main army is going to be raising, and rumor has it that they're marching east. Ulfius' son Ufo is taking a large contingent towards Lev Kamagas. But Ufo is apparently already en route for Silchester, so like where his contingent waits. So he's already on the road. That's already happening. By default, you are all part of Ulfius' army. So Lev Kamagas is over by Salisbury. For those that received gossip on this too, it's also made mention that Ninteliad, the king from Wales, has raised an army and is marching this way. On top of that, it seems that Cerdic, the king of Wessex, has threatened Salisbury, and that is their intent, despite fear that Lev Kamagas may have fallen because of a lack of returned response. It seems the intentions of the king of Wessex is to target Salisbury. All right, so I have to duck out pretty quick here, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. I think you'll want to decide on whether or not you're sharing that information. I would share it before next session, because that could send Gladivir, I think specifically, right? You're the one with the Amor in Salisbury. Yeah. You might end up, and I think it's completely okay if you end up in a bit of a solo or an aside. I think we could manage that. But we'll need to know if you even find out, because you failed your intrigue. So if people won't share that with you, then maybe you go along for the ride with them and you don't know, right? Yeah, might be the easier way. But I'll leave it to Theodric, Ianin, and Colric on whether or not you're sharing the information about Salisbury specifically. That's the key one we'll need to know. If not, then we'll assume next episode we pick up with the battles. So we're moving into war. Yeah. Indeed. All right, guys. Thanks for playing. And
Thanks, Bob.
Yep. See you next time.
Yeah, very cool.
Bye.